An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Good evening to everyone, one and all present here. With great joy and immense exaltation, I extend my warm welcome to all dignitaries, guests, and delegates present here for the webinar series organized by Diksha e-learning in association with Ayurveda College, Coimbatore. In today's session, we will be discussing about understanding of Artva Vyapat and its management by Dr. Neha Dikshit ma'am. Before starting this session, I would like to go through few of the basic instructions to be followed throughout the session. Any question can be raised in the chat box. Raised will be cleared at the end of the session. For the best stability, use a laptop and a high-speed internet connection. If your video is on, please make sure you are in front of your professional background. In case of any disruption, kindly check your internet connection firstly and wait patiently for the class to resume. Please make sure your microphone is on mute to have a disturbance free session. Make sure you have your full name displayed on that it is professional so that it will be professional. Thank you. We are very joyful and cheerful on your presence among us today. Dr. Neha Dikshit ma'am completed UG from Madan Mohan Malavya Ayurveda College, Udaipur, Rajasthan, and PG from All Indian Institute of Ayurveda, Delhi. Ma'am started her career as Assistant Professor, Department of Prasudi Tantra and Sri Yoga at Prem Regu Ayurveda Medical College and Hospital, Hathras. She has presented papers in various national and international seminars, published her research articles in peer index journals. Currently, ma'am is the chief physician of Ved Ayurveda Clinic, Alwar, Rajasthan. We are very joyful and cheerful, ma'am. Now, without any further delay, let's hand over the session to ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam, for introducing me. Good evening, all of you. I think I should share my presentation. Can you see my screen? You all are see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay. I am starting. So today's presentation topic is understanding of Artha Vyapat and its management. Before starting the topic, we should know what is the need of this topic. Okay, as we all know that for the formation of Garb, it is important that Artha should be Shuddh. That is normal in nature. And the word Artha denotes the two meanings. One of them is Bahir Pushp and another one is the Antaha Pushp. Bahir Pushp means menstruation and the another Antaha Pushp means ovum or beach. And both Bahir Pushp and Antaha Pushp are interrelated. And Bahir Pushp is an outward manifestation of proper function of Antaha Pushp, which is necessary for the conception. So any Dushti in Arthav hamper the conception. That is why the Acharyas have mentioned that Arthavam api tribhir doshai shonit chaturtai prathak dvandai samastescha upashishtam abijam bhavati. If there is any kind of dushti in Artha or menstruation, it adversely affects the ovum, or it can also be understood as vice versa. So in today's presentation, first we discuss the normal Arthav Chakra, then etiological factors of Arthav Dushti. Next, we discuss the subconceptual part of Arthav Dushti. After that, examination and some basic investigation in the patient. Next, treatment principle, and lastly, some common diseases related to Arthav Dushti. First, we discuss the Arthav Chakra. So, according to Ayurvedic classics, normal and abnormal state of the body depends upon the three doshas. Vat, Pitta and Kapha. And in abnormal state, Vat, Pitta, Kapha are the root cause of all the disease. Like other body functions, menstruation is also governed by the three doshas. Okay. So during the Rajasrav Kal or during the bleeding phase, dominant dosh is Vata dosh. And it is well known thing that movement in the body, gati of any substance from one place to another place in the body is the function of Vata dosh. And in bleeding phase, blood comes from inside to outside. So there is a gati, there is a movement. So this phase is influenced by the Vata dosh, or we can say during the Rajasrav Kal or during the bleeding phase, Vata dosh is dominant. After the Rajasrav Kal, second phase is Ritu Kal, and Ritu Kal correlate with the proliferative phase. And in the proliferative phase, Kapha dosh acts predominantly, or we can say this is a Kapha dosh dominant phase. The function of regeneration in the body is a Kapha dosha. So what's going on in the proliferative phase? Development of the follicle and the development of the endometrial lining. So development of the follicle and development of the endometrial lining is depend upon the Kapha dosha. Next phase is Ritu Vyatit Kal. And this phase is influenced by the Pitta dosh. After the Ritu Kal, Ritu Vyatit Kal is next phase is the Ritu Vyatit Kal, and dominant dosh is Pitta dosh. So the level of Pitta dosh start increasing at the end of Ritu Kal and reaches the peak level. And Pitta dosh is responsible for the maturation of the follicle and for the ovulation. So in the starting phase, development of follicle and development of endometrial lining is depend upon the Kapha dosh, and maturation of the follicle and ovulation depend upon the Pitta dosh. And also after development of endometrium, it feeded by the blood. That is the function of Pitta. From the mid-cycle, function of Pitta is start. So three doshas are influenced the whole menstrual cycle one by one in the cyclic manner. In the bleeding phase, during the Rajasrav Kal, Vata dosh is dominant. During the Ritu Kal, Kapha dosh is dominant, and during the Ritu Vyatit Kal, Pitta dosh is dominant. Next is Shuddha Artav Lakshanas. In Ayurvedic classics, Lakshanas of Shuddha Artav are related to only from bleeding phase. Okay, so because Artav or menstruation is indirect evidence that overall system is properly functioning or properly working, because all of these three phases, only bleeding phase is externally visible. Other two phases are not visible externally. So that's why Shuddha Artav Lakshanas refers only to the bleeding phase. The Lakshanas of Shuddha Artav in Sahitas is given as Masat. Masat means Artav should come after 1 month interval. So we are taking the history about the regularity of the menstrual cycle. Second is Nishpich, means in Artav, Artav should be without stickiness. If stickiness is there, it is represent the dearrangement of Kapha dosha. Nishpich Daha Arti means Artav should be without stickiness or without burning sensation and without pain. Means no dosha dushti should be there. Next is Pancharatra Nubandhi cha na evati bahu na atyalpam artavam. Menstrual bleeding should not be excessive or should not be less. We say that purusham viksham. So the amount of bleeding varies from person to person. If the bleeding is more for a one woman, it may be normal for the another female. So a patient gives idea about the menstrual cycle. Next, the next acharyas have compared the color of Shuddha Artav to different things. Like color of Shuddha Artav should be like Gunja Phal. Padma means lotus flower, or like alta, or Indragopasankasham, means red velvet insect. Overall color should be bright red. So what is Artavdushti? Any deviation from the Lakshanas of Shuddha Artha, it is called Artavdushti. Whether the deviation is in color or in the consistency or in the amount, it is Artavdushti. If Artav is normal in color, consistency and amount, but it is associated with any symptoms which are not mentioned in the Shuddha Artav Lakshanas, it is called the Artavdushti. Okay. Next is etiological factors of Artavdushti. In a treatment part, firstly, we advise or we counseling the patient about the Nidan Parivarjan. So we should know about etiological factors of Artavdushti. We can divide all the etiological factors into the 4 parts. First one is the dietary factors, second is lifestyle factors, third is psychological factors, and fourth one is the improper use of therapeutic interventions. First one is the dietary factors. Acharya Kashyap mentioned that use of Ati Ushna Annapan directly caused the Artavdushti. We all know that Swarup of Artav is Agne. So Ati Ushna Annapan directly caused the Artavdushti. Secondly, Acharya Charak mentioned that excessive salty, sour and pungent food also caused the Artavdushti. Because in excessive amount, these rasas cause the Pitta Dushti or Rakta Vriddhi. Well, excessive intake of any rasa can cause the Dosha Dushti or Artav Dushti. But these rasas or excessive intake of these rasas directly cause the Artav Dushti because they cause the Pitta Dushti or Rakta Dushti. And Pitta and Rakt are Samandharmi. So these rasas directly cause the Artav Dushti. Next factor is lifestyle factor. So first, in this category, first factor is sedentary lifestyle or physical inactivity. Sedentary lifestyle is responsible for the Ama formation and it hampered the proper formation of Ras Dhatu and do the Srotorod. And Artav is a Upadhatu of Ras Dhatu. So sedentary lifestyle also causes the Artav Dushti, and which is commonly seen in the practice nowadays. Next factor is excessive work or overexertion. So nowadays, girls or female become more health conscious and more conscious about her body. And some women are too much workaholic. So excessive work, overexertion, whether it is physical or mental, it causes the Rasdhatu Shaya or Balashaya. And Artav is a Upadhatu of Rasdhatu. So Rasashaya or Balashaya further lead to Artav Dushti. Third factor, which is very common, is Vek Vidharan. Acharya Vagbhat mentioned that Tatascha Anekda Prayah Pavno Yat Prakupyati. Means Vek Vidharan cause the Vata Dushti. And we all know that Yoni never be vitiated without Vata Dosh. So Vata Dushti, why Vek Vidharan leads to Yoni Dushti, which further cause the Artav Dushti. Next category in the etiological factors are psychological factors. So regulation of the menstrual cycle is controlled by the HPO axis, and all the nervine reflex in the body is a control by Vata or function of a Vata. So proper function or maintenance of HPO axis is a function of Vata. And Chinta, Shok, Bhay, these are the causative factor of Vata Dushti. So the stress directly affect the HPO axis. Also, Chintayanam cha Ati Chintana mentioned as Ras Dhatu Dushti Hetu. So any factor that cause the Ras Dushti will also cause the Artav Dushti. So all the gynecological disorders are psychosomatic in nature. because some degree of stress is always present in the females. That's why we are at treatment like Jatamasi, Tagar, Brahmi, or Shirodhara, Shankpushpi, etc. in the treatment part. Next category is improper use of therapeutic interventions. In this category, first factor is Nasya Karm in Rajaswala Stri. Because during the Rajasrav Kal, during the bleeding phase, the process of degeneration is going on in one part of body. So at the time, if we starting regeneration process by inducing the HPO axis, it leads to Amotpatti and further cause the Artav Dushti. Second cause is use of Tikshna Dravyas for Shodhan Kam to the women having Mratu Kost. Because in Mratu Kost person, in Mratu Kost female, Tikshna Dravyas are caused Ras Dhatu Shaya, and which further cause the Artav Shaya or Artav Dushti. Next is Artav Dushti classification. So, as menstruation is governed by the doshas, their imbalance causes the abnormality. So, according to causative dosh, Artav Dushti have 8 types: Vataj, Pittaj, Sneshmaj, Raktaj, Vat Kaf, Pitt Kaf, Vat Pitt, and 3 doshas. And according to clinical features, also Artav Dushti has 8 types: Vataj, Pittaj, Sleshmaj, Kunapagandhi, Granthi, Putipuya, Shin, and Putrapuresh Sanipam. We can take one by one. First is Vataj Artav Dushti. So Vataj Artav Dushti is caused by vitiation of Vata dosh. And menstrual blood which is vitiated by Vata dosh, mainly blackish in color. In all these Artav Dushti, the sign and symptoms including pain, color, etc. depends on the predominance of the involved dosha. So in the Vata Artav Dushti, menstrual blood, the color of menstrual blood mainly blackish in color, and in Vata Dushti, women suffers from various kind of pain like pricking pain or thrombing pain. In Vata Artav Dushti, Ashtang Sangrah also mentions similar manifestation. Tatra Tanu Ruksham Fenilam Arunam Alpam Vichinnam Sarujam Chirach Nishyate Vate. Means in Vata Artav Dushti, menstrual blood is thin, dry, frothy, scattered, painful, and it is excreted slowly. So on the basis of these symptoms, Vata Artav Dushti correlate with the oligomenorrhea associated with dysmenorrhea, Alpa and Saruja. Next Artav Dushti is Pitta Artav Dushti. Similar to Vata Artav Dushti, Pitta Artav Dushti is caused by vitiation of Pitta dosh. If female use excessive Pitta Vardhak Ahar Vyar, it causes the Pitta Dushti. It causes the vitiation of Pitta dosh. And in Pitta Artav Dushti, menstrual blood is yellowish or bluish in color. Acharya Dal had commented that Pit Neel aate hai. So in the menstrual blood, in the Pitta Artav Dushti, menstrual blood is yellowish or bluish in color, and female suffers from burning sensation. Acharya Harith also mentioned the Mutrakrach symptom in the Pitta Artav Dushti. So Pitta Artav Dushti generally correlate with the infection of female reproductive system, because presence of bluish or yellowish color in the menstrual blood is generally not seen in practice, but presence of burning sensation and putrid smell and painful micturition indicate the infection in the female reproductive system. Next Artav Dushti is Sleshmaj Artav Dushti. So Sleshmaj Artav Dushti is caused by the vitiation of a Kapha dosha. And in Kapha Artav Dushti, menstrual blood is whitish or slightly yellowish in color. And women mainly experience Kandavate, means itching in her body. Ashtang Sangrah mentioned that much upasanshita bhutam, means menstrual blood in Kapha Artav Dushti mixed with matcha. But logically, it is not not possible that menstrual blood mixed with bone marrow or bajja. But bone marrow is a spongy or gelatinous tissue. And in Kapha Jartav Dushti, excessive mucoid discharge are present in menstrual blood. So it may be the reason behind this. Next, they mention the Vibhaddam, means blood is too thick in consistency, which makes its expulsion is too difficult and it settles down if put in the water. Overall, the Kaphaj Lakshanas are present in the Kaphaj Artav Dushti or in the menstrual blood. So Kaphaj Artav Dushti correlate with the severe anemia cases. Next is the Kunap Gandhi Artav Dushti. Kunap Gandhi Artav Dushti is caused by the vitiated Rakta Dosha. And Kunap Gandhi means smell of dead body. Kunapam Shavasya Tasya Eva Gandho means Kunap Gandhi means smell of dead body. So in this Artav Dushti, menstrual blood smell like dead body. And also amount of menstrual discharge during menstruation is more. And Kunap Gandhi Artav Dushti is said to be incurable, and we can correlate this Artav Dushti due to with the excessive bleeding due to disturbed coagulation factors. Next Artav Dushti is Granthibhut Artav Dushti. Granthibhut Artav Dushti is caused by vitiation of Kapha dosh and Vata dosh. Granthi means having cyst-like appearance. And this Artav Dushti is correlated with the PCOS cases. Next Artav Dushti is Puti Puya Artav Dushti. And Puti Puya Artav Dushti is caused by the Pitta and Kapha dosha. Puti means putrid and Puya means pus. So in this condition, menstrual blood resembling like pus and consists the putrid smell. And this condition we can correlate with the acute infection of reproductive system. Next Artav Dushti is Shina Artav Dushti. There is another Artav Vyapad is Artav Shay. So Shina Artav Dushti is caused by the vitiation of Vat and Pitta dosha. And symptom in both the conditions are Yathochit Kala Adarshana. Means in this Artav Dushti, menstrual irregularities are there. Second is Alpita, means amount of blood flow is less, and Yoni Vednacha, pain is present during the menstruation. Next Artav Dushti is Mutra Purish Gandhi Artav Dushti. So in Mutra Purish Gandhi Artav Dushti, menstrual blood has smell of urine and feces. And this condition is caused by all the three doshas, Vat, Pitta and Kapha. And this condition is said to be incurable. So due to smell of urine and feces, this condition we can correlate with the vesicovaginal fistula and rectovaginal fistula. Next condition is Nashta Artav. Next Artav Vyapad is Nashta Artav. Doshe Avrit Margatvat Artavam Nashyati Striya. In Nashta Artav, Acharya Dallad commented that Atra Doshaha Kafo Vayur Vat Kafaucha. Means vitiation of Vat and Kapha cause the Avran of Artav and it leads to Nashta Artav. And further, Dallad commented that Nashyati iti pravartamanam na drishyati. Na tu sarvada shayam yati. Means na tu sarvada shayam yati means in this condition, Artav is not totally destroyed, but due to obstruction, there is an obstruction, and due to this obstruction of its channels, Nashyati iti pravartamanam na drishyati. Artav is not pravartamanam or not excreted. So Nashta Artav is a condition where the problem in the excretion of Artav, not in the formation of Artav. So there are two conditions. First is Nashta Artav and second condition in Sheena Artav or Artav Shay. In Nashta Artav is a condition where the endometrial thickness of the patient is good, but there is a problem in the excretion, not in the formation. There is a problem in the excretion due to obstruction. There is a Avranjanya Samprapti. Acharya mentioned that Doshair Avrit Margatvat. So there is a Avranjanya Samprapti, and due to this obstruction, menses is not there. And that's why they mention in the Chikitsa part Ushna, Tishna and Vat Kafar Dravya in the Nashtartha Chikitsa. And second condition is Shina Artha or the Arthavshaya condition. In Shina Artha or Arthavshaya, there can be three type of samprapti. First one is Rasashaya condition. If Rasashaya condition is present in the patient is nutritional deficient or Rasashaya condition is there, then in this condition we use the Ras Prasadak Dravyas, and Tikta Dravyas are Ras Prasadak. So we can use Kutaj, Kutki, Patol, and we can give the Agni Vardhak Dravya. So in Rasashaya condition, we use Ras Prasadak Dravya and Agni Vardhak Dravya. If there is a Shina Arthav or Arthavshaya condition due to Pittashaya, then we use the Agneya Dravya in the treatment part. But there is another condition which is in the Shina Arthav or Arthav Dushti, which is Arthavshaya or Shina Arthav due to Ushna Guna of Pitt. If Arthavshaya condition is occurred due to Ushna Guna of Pitt, then in this condition, we never used Agneya Dravyas. And that's why in the treatment part, Acharyas have mentioned that Agneya Nam cha Dravyanam Vidhivat Upyoga. So Arthavshaya or Shin Arthav condition is occurred due to Pittashaya, then use Agneya Dravyanam. If condition is occurred due to Ushna Gun of Pitt, then never use the Agneya Dravyas. Only do the Pitta Shamana Chikitsa. So now the question is, how will we know that there is a Arthavshaya due to Ushna Gun of Pitta? So if the patient complains that there is a burning sensation in the abdomen, in the chest or throat, so it indicates the Ushna Gun of Pitta. So there is, if there is a condition, we never use the Agneya Dravyas. Then we used Pitta Shaman Chikitsa. So so Pitta and Kapha both are caused the Arthavshaya or Shina Arthav. Next condition is Asragdar. Tasya ev ati pravartasya asragdaratvam. The quantitative increase in blood is termed as Asragdar. An excessive flow and prolonged duration of menses during the menstrual cycle known as Asragdar. And in Sahitas, 4 types of Asragdar are mentioned. In Vataj Asragdar, Acharya Charak mentioned that Phenilam Tanu Ruksham cha Shavam Arunam Evcha Kinshik Odak Sankasham Sarujam Vathinirujam Kati Vangshan Het Pashu Prashta Shonishu Marataha. In Pittaj Artav Dushti, similar Acharya Charak mentioned that Sanilam Athva Pitam Atya Ushnam Asitam Tatha Dahar Raga Trishna Moho Jwar Bhram Samayutam. And in Kapha Asragdar, Charak mentioned that Pichal Pandu Vandam cha Guru Snigdam cha Shitilam Chardi Arochak Helas Swas Ka Samangitam. But the patient never tell us that her menstrual blood is Kinshogodak Sankasham or Panduban or Pichilban, as mentioned in the Vatapit and Kapha Jasragdar. So it is our responsibility to find out the dominant dosh or what type of Arthav Dushti is there. So if the patient tells us that menstrual blood is coming like a watery or mixed with water and complain pain in the Kati Vrangshan or a Pashva Prashta, then there is a Vata Jasrakdar. Next is Pitta Jasrakdar. If the patient tells us that the burning sensation or thirst during the menstruation, so there is a Pitta Jasrakdar. And if the patient tells us that the feeling of nausea, vomiting or heaviness in the body during the menstruation, then there is Kapha Arthav Dushti. So this way we can differentiate the Vata, Pitta and Kapha's Asragdar. So these all Arthav Vyapat we can categorize or we can classify into the 3 categories. First is Kashta Arthav, second is Arthavshaya, and third condition is Arthavriddhi, because the patient comes to the OPD due to these three problems. So examination of the patient. So examination of the patient is done by the Trivid Pariksha, Darshan, Sparshan and the Prashna. In Darshan Pariksha, the general health status should be the prime concern. If the patient is Krish or Vavarney and her nutritional health status is not so good, then there can be Shayajanya Samprapti. And if Shayajanya Samprapti is there, then we used Ras Prasadak Dravya. As I previously told, then used Ras Prasadak Dravya. If the patient is obese, facial hair is present, or if thyroid gland enlargement is there, then this condition indicate some metabolic disorder in the patient. So there can be Avranjanya Samprapti or Kafadosh involvement. So then first we do the Sanshodhan Chikitsa in this type of patient. After that we use Shaman Orshad. Next is Sparshan Pariksha. In Sparshan Pariksha, we do the per abdominal examination and the per vaginal examination. So to find out any pelvic lesion or the growth disorder, because it can also cause the menstrual irregularities. Third is the Prashna Pariksha. In Prashna Pariksha, we take the detailed history of the patient regarding her diet, lifestyle, or a sexual history, disease related history, because it gives idea about the etiological factors. Next is clinical investigation. We are basically done these tests. First is urine pregnancy test. In a reproductive age group of patient, if she comes with amenorrhea or menorrhagia, to find out the any obstetrical cause, we done the urine pregnancy test. Second one is the CBC. CBC to find out any anemic status of the patient. Third is the ESR to rule out any infection in the patient, and the thyroid function test and the USG. Next is the principle of treatment. So treatment of any disease start with the Nidan Parivarjan. What kind of diet did the patient take? What kind of lifestyle has the patient adopted? According to that, we can advise diet and lifestyle modification in the patient. If the patient is obese, then should advise for exercise or the weight loss. And stress management is very necessary in the all gynecological disorders because it affects the directly on the HPO axis. Menstrual hygiene. Menstrual hygiene is important mainly in the adolescent girls because unhygienic condition can cause the infection or affect the nutritional status or nutritional condition of the patient. And last, we counseling the patient to avoid junk food, smoking, and alcohol. So first find out the etiological factor and then advise the patient to Nidan Parivarshan. Next is in Artav Dushti Chikitsa, Acharya Shushruta mentioned that Vidhi Uttar Bastya Antam Kuryat Artav Shuddhe. Means after proper Snehan and Svedan, use all 5 Panchkarma procedure up to the Uttar Basti. And also mention the local therapies in the Artav Dushti Chikitsa. Kuryat Kalkan Pichuaschapi Pathyanya Achmananiche. Kalk, Pichu, vaginal douching should be used if there is a local infection or local factor is present. Next in the treatment part, Acharya mentioned Swayoni Vardhananya Eva Pratikaraha. If Artav Dushti is there due to any Doshashaya condition, then Dravya should be used according to Doshashaya condition. So now we discuss the treatment part of some diseases. These patients are commonly seen in the OPD. The first disease is primary dysmenorrhea. Primary dysmenorrhea is a result of Vata Prakop. And as per Ayurvedic classics, pain occurred in any part of body due to aggravation of Vata dosh. So this is a Kshetra of Apan Vayu. Okay, so we use the treatment. The treatment should be Agni Deepak, Grahi, Vatanuloman, and Pakvasya Shuddhikar. We can use these oral medications in the primary dysmenorrhea patient. First is Arendithel. Arendithel act as the Mradu Virechan. So helpful in the Vatanuloman and Pakvasya Shuddhikar. We can use Arendibhrasht Haritki, Hingvati Churn, Hingvashtak Churn, Shankhvati, Chaturbis Churn, Dashmul Kwat, Abhyarishta, Devitar Vyadi Kwat, Arka Ajwain, Kalonji and Shankh Bhasm combination. So all these medication should we use according to feasibility of the patient or complaint of the patient. For example, Hingvashtak Churn is never used if the patient has the constipation. And constipation also causes dysmenorrhea. So in these cases, we used Abhyarishta or castor oil or Arendithel. Okay. Next is Matra Basti. So Matra Basti with any Vatashamak oil is beneficial in the Kashtartha because Matra Basti is helpful in Vatanuloman and Matra Basti directly target the dearrangement of Vata dosha. So we can use Bala Tel, Saheshwar Tel, Dhanvantar Tel, Rasanadi Tel, Til Tel, Narayan Tel, Mahanarayan Tel, and Dashmul Tel. Next is Yogasan in the dysmenorrhea. We can also advise some Yogasan like Ushtrasan, Bhadrasan, Gomukhasan, Vajrasan, which are helpful in the dysmenorrhea. Because Yogasan increase the pain threshold capacity in the individuals. It also relieving the congestion and improve the circulation in the body. So Yogasan harmonize the body and mind. Next disease is polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is very common nowadays. So PCOS is correlated with the Granthiput Artav Dushti. As I previously told that Artav indicate both the things, Antahapushp and the Bahirpushp. And in PCOS cases, cyst is formed inside the ovary. So it is indicate the Granthi in Antahapushp. And in all type of PCOS patient, Sanshodhan or Mradu Sanshodhan Chikitsa is needed. If we look at the PCOS Samprapti, we found out that initially, due to the sedentary lifestyle and increased intake of fast food, irrespective of appetite, leads to Jatharagni Dushti. And this Jatharagni Dushti leads to Ama formation. Arm formation further cause the Rasa Dhatu Dushti in the initial level. So formation of Artha is also affected and manifested or presented as oligomenorrhea in the PCOS patient. If patient is continuously taking the improper ahar and vihar without much physical activity, then this increase the kapha dosh, and kapha dosh prevents the normal function of vata dosh, which result in impairment of HPO axis. Maintenance of HPO axis or nervine reflex is a function of vata dosh, and these function under the control of vata dosh. So where the HPO axis is involved, whole menstrual cycle is disturbed, and at last both the vitiated doshas, vat and kapha, blocks the function of pitta dosh, which leads to improper maturation of the follicle and forms the small cyst in the ovary. So in all type of PCOS cases, we need Sanshodhan Chikitsa or Mradu Sanshodhan Chikitsa. In PCOS cases, there are two type of patients: lean PCOS patient and the obese patient. In generally, in lean PCOS patient, after Mradu Sanshodhan, we use Rasayan, Palle and Bhrangan Chikitsa. And in obese patient, after the proper Sanshodhan Karm, we use Lekhan Chikitsa. But in both type of patient, two type of features, amenorrhea and the menorrhagia. And with there are two type of samprapti. First one, samprapti is problem in the formation of artha, and second samprapti in the excretion of artha. So if the formation of artha is hampered, then we give the medication for the formation of artha. So if formation of artha is proper, but problem in excretion, so in this case, there is a avranjanya samprapti. So before starting the treatment, we must find out where the problem is. If the problem in the formation, then give the medication for the artha formation. And if the problem in the excretion, then give the medication to the patient for discharge or for the excretion. So now the question is, how we will know that the problem, where the problem is. So in both the cases, in both the PCOS patient, the sonologist mentioned in the USG report that polycystic pattern in the ovary, but we have to see her endometrial thickness in the USG, because if endometrial thickness not increases more than 3, 4 or 5 mm, then there is a problem in the formation of artha. In this case, we not use Dashmula-Reshta Raja Pravartini or Lesunadivati for the Pravartan, because there is a problem in the formation. Artha is not there. So what is excreted? And in this condition, we have used medicines for the formation of artha, like Saptasara Kashaya, Chandra Prabhavati, etc. Second condition is where the problem in the excretion. If the patient endometrial thickness is 7, 8 or 9 or more than that, then there is a problem in the excretion, not in the formation. So in this case, we give the medicine Dashmula-Resh, Raja Pravatni or Lesunadi, etc. And last, diet and lifestyle modification is must in all PCOS cases, because PCOS is also a lifestyle disorder. So diet and lifestyle modification is must. These are the some oral medication we can use in the PCOS cases, like Kachanar Kukulu, Saptasari Kashaya, Rasana Sapta Kashaya, Patha, Vrakshak and Triyushni. Patha, Vrakshak and Triyushni is mentioned in the Granthibhutarthav Chikitsa, and is this is very helpful in the PCOS patient, but it should not be given in the patient who have Pittaj Prakriti, because Triyushna is there, or in lean PCOS patient. So Patha, Vrakshak, Triyushna is helpful in the PCOS patient, but it is not given in the Pittaj Prakriti patient or lean PCOS patient due to Triushna. Next, Shatpushpa Churn. We can use Shatavari Churn, Trifla Quat, Chandra Prabhavati. There is lot of more medication in the PCOS, but firstly, find out the samprapti, where the problem in formation or the excretion. After that, use medications. In PCOS cases, there are some yogasan which are helpful. Surya Namaskar, Sarvangasan, Matsya Asan, Ardha Matsya Andrasan, Paschimottanasana, and Ushtrasan. We counseling the patient to do the yogasan. Next disease is menorrhagia, and it correlates with the Asragdar. So the treatment of menorrhagia or Asragdar should be similar to the treatment of Raktapit, Raktash or Raktash and Raktapit and Raktatisar. So aim of treatment is Raktisthapan. In heavy vaginal bleeding, first of all, we have to see complaint of the patient, because heavy bleeding may be due to the some growth disorder like fibroid. Okay, so after excluded the pelvic lesion, we can use these medication according to dosh and tushti. So we can use bol parpati, mochras, chandrakala ras, praval pishti, ashoka rest, ushir asav. We can use Lakshadi Gublu, Durva Swaras, Chandra Prabhavati, Shatavari Ghat, Shita Kalyanak Ghat. For example, if the patient have Vata Jasragdar, then we can use Bol Parpati or Bol Badras or the Kutajarist. And in Kafa Jasragdar is there, then we used Lodhra Lakshadi Guglu. And if Pitta Jasragdar is there, then we used Mochras or Ushirasa or Chandrakalaras. So according to Dosha Dushti, we can use these medications. Next is PMS, premenstrual syndrome. So what is PMS? Group of symptoms. So PMS is a group of symptoms that occur in the woman prior to menstruation. Prior to menstruation means in the luteal phase. So premenstrual syndrome has a wide variety of signs and symptoms, including mood swings, tenderness in the breast, fatigue, irritability, depression, etc. So, in the modern science have given to the many theories to explain the or to understand the PMS, but due to variation in the syndrome, none of theories fully describe the PMS. But according to Ayurvedic classics, what is PMS? PMS arise in the Ritu Vyatit Kalavastha. Ritu Vyatit Kalavastha, because it occur in the prior to menstruation, and prior to menstruation is a luteal phase, and according to Artavchak is a phase of Ritu Vyatit Kalavastha. So PMS occur in the according to Ayurvedic classic in the Ritu Vyatit Kalavastha, and during the Ritu Vyatit Kalavastha, Pitta dosh is dominant and Vata dosh in Sanchyavastha, because after the Ritu Vyatit Kal, Rajasrav Kal is coming, and during the Rajasrav Kal, dominant dosh is Vata dosh. So in the Ritu Vyatit Kalavastha, Pitta is dominant dosh and Vat in Sanchyavastha. So in this particular phase, if patient taking Pitta Vardhak Ahar Vihar, Pitta Vardhak Nidan, consume the Pitta Vardhak Nidan, then Prakupit Pitta create the avaran in the normal path of Vyanvayu. So the Pitta Avrat Vyanvayu symptoms are occur in the PMS patients. So Lakshanas of Pitta Avrat Vyanvayu are Daha Sarvang, Sarvang Daha. So Sarvang Daha explain the hot flashes or raised body temperature during the PMS. Second is Klamha. Klam means tiredness or exertion. So Klam explain these symptoms. Next is Gatra Vikshepa Sangaha. So Gatra Vikshepa Sangha, it explains the fluid retention in the PMS patient. And next is Santap Deha Manas Indriya. So all the mood and the behavioral disorders comes under this Santap Deha Manas Indriya. And next is Vedana. So in the PMS patient, we found out abdominal cramps, breast tenderness, and generalized ache. So all these symptoms can be explained by the Pitta Avrat Vyanvayu. So in the treatment part, there is a Avran. There is Avran and Pitta Avrata Vyanvayu. So in the treatment part, first we treat the Avrak dosh or Pitta dosh. So we can give to the patient first Pitta Shaman Chikitsa, like Draksha, Shatavari or Khajur, Madhuyashti Adi, Punarnava Mandur or Chandraprabhavati. And Punarnava Mandur and Chandraprabhavati, these are helpful in the PMS patient who have fluid retention or complain of breast tenderness and weight gain during this phase. Next is Yoni Prakshalan. So for Yoni Prakshalan in Artav Dushti, Acharyas mentioned these dravyas. In Vataj Artav Dushti, we can do the Yoni Prakshalan by Saral evam Modak Parni Kashaya. In Pittaj Artav Dushti, we can use Garrick and Arisht Kashaya. In Kafaj Artav Dushti, we can use Rotr and Tinduk Kashaya. And in Kunap Kanthi Artav Dushti, we can use Trifla Kashaya. But we used and we can use the other medications which are available according to dosha dushti. Like in vata jartav dushti, we can use the guduchyadi kashaya. In pitta jartav dushti, we can use aragvadadi kashaya or tuvrak kashaya. And in kapha jartav dushti, panchvalkal kashaya can be used. If any kashaya is not available, then we can use the trifla kashaya, because trifla belong to the mustadigar and it has yoni doshahara property. So if only trifla kashaya is present, then we can use trifla kashaya. Similar to yoni prakshalan, kalkas are also mentioned in the artav dushti chikitsa. In vataj artav dushti, priyangu and tilkalk. Pitta Jartav Dushti Chikitsa, Acharya has mentioned Chandan and Pyasa Kalk. In Kafach Artav Dushti, Madanfal Kalk, and in Kunapkanthi Artav Dushti, Trifla Kalk is mentioned. So, in all the diseases, first we have to advise lifestyle change, because in our Sahitas mentioned that Pathya Sati Gadartasya Kim Aushad Nishevnam. So first ask the patient to eat healthy and exercise regularly to maintain her metabolism, to maintain her weight. Then breathe deeply and live happily, because it manages the stress factor. And third, sleep properly for maintenance of a biological clock. So thank you so much. This is completed from my side.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. It was great listening to you. And for the participants who are attending this session, please be sure to post your questions into the chat box into control panel. Ma'am? Ma'am, now let us enter into the question and answer session, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Here a case, 23-year-old female, lean PCOS, amenorrhea, since 4 months, endometrial thickness of 10.2 millimeter, both the ovaries enlarged, AMH high and DHEA levels high. Ma'am, please suggest the line of treatment for this, ma'am.
Okay. In a lean PCOS patient, we not do the proper Sanshodhan kar. Okay, start the treatment. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. You're audible, ma'am.
Okay. In both type of PCOS patient, we do the Sanshodhan kar, but obese patient do the proper in the proper Sanshodhan kar. But in the lean PCOS patient, we do Mradu Sanshodhan. So for Mradu, you can start from the Mradu Sanshodhan if you have no facilities for the Sanshodhan kar. First, give the medication. First day for Mridu Sanshodhan, you can give the patient for Mukta Pani. Okay, so give the patient Mukta Pani for Deepan Pachan for first day, for whole day. Okay. So counseling the patient, whenever you feel thirsty, you have the drink this water. In a second day, you advise the patient for self-snehan and Swedan for 2 times in a day. For Snehan, you can give some medicated oil, and for Swedan, you advise the patient putting the towel in the hot water and wrapped in the body one by one in the part of the body due to 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. And in the next day, you can give the medication, Virechan medicines like Trivit Avle or Isnuhi Haritki. So you can give the patient Mradu Sanshodhan. If the patient is very lean and thin, then you go for the Arogya Vardhani Vatti or Faltrikadi Kashaya. Okay, Arogya Vardhani Vatti contain the Kutki. So if the patient has the Mridu Kost, then give the patient Arogya Vardhani Vatti. But patient have Krura Kost, then give to the patient Faltrikadi Kashaya for 10 to 15 days. And after that, you give the patient Shaman Aushad.
Okay. Ma'am, on the next question, ma'am.
Hmm.
Explain the treatment of severe dysmenorrhea.
Okay. Um,
What is
I
the
meant
line of treatment for severe dysmenorrhea?
okay. We already mentioned some medication in the dysmenorrhea, but if the patient have the severe dysmenorrhea, then give the Shankbhasm and Hingvastakchurn to the patient. It give instant release. So Shankbhasm or Hingvastakchurn combination you can give the patient for dysmenorrhea, and if it is not available, then give the patient Arkajwine and the Shankapati. And if you know that the patient will have dysmenorrhea, then prior to menstrual cycle, give the patient Matra Basti, or you can give the medication for the dysmenorrhea before 7 days of the menstrual cycle and continue for 3 days of the menstrual cycle. For 10 days, you give the medication for the patient, and prior to menstruation, you can give Matra Basti. But in instant relief in severe dysmenorrhea, you can use Shankbhasm or Hingvastakchurn or Arkajwine or Shankbhati.
Okay, ma'am. And the next question, ma'am. How to know different types of Arthvadushti in patients clinically?
Okay, I'm already mentioned
Yes, ma'am.
that how we can understand if the patient come to you and the patient is obese, or there is a problem in the formation of artha. Okay, then give the medicine for if the patient is obese, then first do the Sanshodhan, and then you give the medicine for the Artav Janan. There can be
Okay, ma'am.
Avranjanya Samprapti or Shayjanya Samprapti, both are heavy. If the Shayjanya Samprapti, it is not possible that patient is obese, then Avranjanya Sampraptis should be there. There can be Shayjanya Samprapti, but according to symptoms, according to
Yes, ma'am.
investigation, we can find out what type of dushti, what type of Samprapti is there.
Okay, ma'am. Then the next question is, ma'am, the treatment of facial hair in PCOS, PCOD.
Okay, facial hair in the PCOS cases. So PCOD
PCOD,
is
yes, ma'am.
okay. PCOD is a disease, and hirsutism or facial hair or acne, all are the symptoms. If we treat the disease, then the symptoms also will disappear. So in the
Okay.
PCOS patient, first do the Sanshodhan or Mridu Sanshodhan, as I previously told. But for the facial hair, after the Sanshodhan, you can use Nisha Katakadi Kashai or Lata Karanjvati. It give you better result.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Now the next question, ma'am. Please explain the Lekana in the obese PCOS patients.
Lekhan in the
Obese PCOS patients, ma'am.
okay, you can give the patient Udvartan of Trifla Chun. You can use Lekhan Basti, which is mentioned in the Shushut Chikitsa Sthana, Trifla Kwata Gomutra Shodra Shara Samayutam. So
Okay,
you
ma'am.
can use Lekhan Basti, you can use Udvartan.
Okay, ma'am. And the next question, ma'am. What can we do in PCOS case if some Shodhana facilities are not available?
Okay, I'm already explained this question. Do for the go for the Mradu Sanshodhan Kar or Nitya Virechan Kar. If patient is lean, then go for the Nitya Virechan. Do the patient Fal Trikadi Kashai, or you can give Arogya Vardhani Vatti. And I'm already told the proper procedure of Mradu Sanshodhan. So according to Dosha Dushti, you can choose your medication and do the Mradu Sanshodhan.
Okay, ma'am. The next question, ma'am. What to be given for the rupture of ovum in Ayurveda?
Okay.
What to be
I
given for
mean,
the rupture of ovum? Ma'am?
okay. I mentioned in the Artav Chakra that the development of the follicle and development of the endometrial lining is a function of a kapha dosh. But maturation of the follicle
Okay, ma'am.
and ovulation is a function of pitta dosh. So If the problem in the rupture, so you can give Pittvardak Ahar Vihar. Then use Lasunadi Vati, you can use Chitrikadi Vati, or you can use
Yes, ma'am.
ask the patient for counseling the patient to use brinjal and papaya for 3 to 4 days. Only this phase up to the follicle is not rupture. After that, you stop the brinjal or papaya or Pittvardak Ahar Vihar. For proper for rupture, you can Lasunadi, you can use Lasanadi or Chitrikadi or any Pittvardak medicine.
Okay. Okay. Then, ma'am, can you please explain the yogas for each type of Artha Drishti, ma'am?
Okay. Sorry. Repeat the question.
Can you please explain the yogas, ma'am, for the each type of Artha Drishti?
Each
Which
type
we
of
can give
Artha Drishti.
orally to.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Particular dosh, particular Artha Drishti. Okay. And Vataj Artha Drishti, there is a dysmenorrhea is present. Then ask the patient for the Ushtrasan, Gomukhasan, as I previously mentioned, and Pittaj Artha Drishti is there. The, Surya Namaskar is a yoga asana which can you advise the patient in whole type of Artha Drishti. Okay. But if the patient has severe menorrhagia, then stop the exercise where the patient is advised for the Savasana. It calm her mind and it give the better benefits. So use the advise the patient Savasana in menorrhagia cases.
Okay, ma'am. Then the treatment for primary dysmenorrhea associated with vomiting, ma'am.
Associated with vomiting.
Yes,
then
ma'am.
you can okay. Hingvashtak Churn give the in if the primary dysmenorrhea patient where the nausea vomiting is present, then give the Hingvashtak Churn with the Shankbas. Only where the chronic constipation is there, you never use the Hingvashtak. Other than you can use Hingvashtak if GIT irritability is there.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, will you please explain the management for early premenopausal symptoms, ma'am?
Okay. Can you repeat the question?
Please explain the management for the early premenopausal symptoms.
Premenopausal symptoms. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
First, find out the dominant dosh in a menopause patient. If you have facilities of Shirodhara, then
Yes,
first you give the first 1 to 2 sitting of Shirodhara. Second,
yes,
you can also use the Rasayana Churn. Okay, Rasayana Churn have the Guduchi, Amalki, and Yashtimadu. So this combination is helpful in the menopausal patient or perimenopausal patient. And also with it, you can use Shatavari in any formation, Shatavari Churn or so Guduchi, Amalki, and Gokshur combination, and a Shatavari, and any combination or any medicines for the psychosomatic disorder. Brahmi, Shankapushpi, Jatamasi, as I previously told, or 1 to 2 sitting of Shirodhara.
Okay. Then the next question: whether Rasadushti present in Ashtikdara condition, where Ashtikdara is mentioned as a Rakta Pradoshaja Vikara. They were asked, ma'am, whether the Rasadushti is present in this condition, Ashtikdara condition.
So what is the treatment?
They were asking about whether Rasadushti is present in the Ashtikdara condition, ma'am. Okay.
Then first you go for the Mridu Virechan by the Haritki. So first give the Pakvasha Shuddhikar or Virechan. So Kashyap mentioned in the Virechan, it is a Virechan Sadhya Vyadhi. So first you use the Haritki for the Virechan. Then after that you give the patient Rasayana Balya Bhrangan Chikitsa. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. The next question, ma'am. What should be given for the onset of menses in delayed cycles along with Raja Pravatnivati and Kumaryasava?
In delayed cycle?
Yes, ma'am. What should be given along with Raja Pravatnivati and Kumaryasava?
Okay. Delayed cycle. So I told that yoni never be vitiated without vata dosha, but
Okay, ma'am.
there is a delayed cycle. Okay, so
Yes,
there is an involvement of kapha. So you can use Arogya Vardhani Vati to remove Avarodh. You can use Chandra Prabha Vati, Dashmula. So this type of medication you can use in the delayed cycle.
okay. Ma'am, what can we do? What is the line of treatment for both diseases, ma'am? Hypothyroid and PCOD when it comes to giving.
Hypothyroidism and
PCOD, ma'am.
okay, both are the metabolic disorders or the lifestyle disorders.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is the function of thyroid? Thyroid regulate the metabolism and regulate the energy level in the body. And if thyroid is disturbed, then irregular period is also there is a condition. So line of treatment is same both the diseases. First, find out the etiological factor in the patient. And if both diseases are present in the patient, then first do the Sanshodhan Karma. After that, you can use Shamanaushad like Trifla Guglu, Kachanar Guglu, or Punarnavadi Kashai. After the Sanshodhan Karma, you can use the Shamanaushad. And with that, lifestyle modification, diet and lifestyle modification is must in both the cases.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, in dysmenorrhea, what are the medicines to be added in the Matra Basti, ma'am?
Any Vata Shamak oil, you can
Okay,
use. I listed
and
both.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. In session. And whether we can use Kashaya Basti in chronic dysmenorrhea, ma'am?
Please repeat the question.
Whether we can use Kashaya Basti in chronic dysmenorrhea, ma'am?
Yes, you can use. But we say that the tail kalpna or oil or sneh is a good for the vata dosh. So
Okay,
for
ma'am.
kashaya kalpna you can use um, tail kalpna. So tail is give better result.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Then the role of Satapushpa and Shatavari, which phase to give these medicines, ma'am? What are the phases to give these medicines, ma'am? And what is the role of Satapushpa and Shatavari, ma'am?
Okay. In which disease? PCOS.
They are not mentioned ma'am. In
Okay.
Arthadishti, ma'am.
Shatavari is
The role of
mainly
Satapushpa.
okay. Mainly Shatavari is helpful in the art of formation and art of excretion. And Shatapushpa is mainly
Yes, ma'am.
do the excretion, useful in the excretion. Where the problem in the excretion, then we use the Shatapushpa mainly.
Okay, ma'am. Then, ma'am, does Asoka Arishta along with Shamana Matra of Palasarfi helps in increasing the endometrial thickness, ma'am? Ashoka Arishtam along with the Shamana Matra of Palasarfi, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Yes,
Shamana Matra
you
of
can use.
Palasarfi.
But in case of in case of
endometrial thickness, ma'am, to increase the endometrial thickness.
To increase, you can use Uttar Basti. Madhuyashyadi tel Uttar Basti is give the better result in the thin endometrial lining.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, will you please explain some medications for the increasing the estrogen level, ma'am?
Increasing estrogen level. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, if any hormone is increased, then it means hormonal imbalance is there. Then do for the go for the Sanshodhan Karma. Okay. First do the Sanshodhan Karma. After that, do not focus on the estrogen, increasing estrogen level. Focus on the dosha doshti. If there is a problem in the follicle rupture, if a problem in the development of the follicle, then give the patient to the follicle development treatment. Okay. If estrogen is high in the PCOD or the hormonal imbalance in always present in the PCOS cases. So first we do the Sanshodhan Karma or Vridhu Sanshodhan, and after that, according to Doshadoshti, according to Samprapti, we use Shramanaushad.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, in PCOS patient with oligomenorrhea, there is a decrease in pitta when the Virechanam is given. Then how
Please
Nitya
repeat.
Virechanam
Can
in a
please repeat?
PCOS patient with oligomenorrhea, ma'am?
Okay.
A PCOS patient with oligomenorrhea, if we give Virechana, there is a further decrease in the pitta, ma'am. So,
Okay.
how is Nitya Virechanam acts as a best treatment?
Okay. You can give the Nitya Virechana by castor oil. Use the castor oil in the patient of PCOD with oligomenorrhea. If you can give the want to give Nitya Virechana, use castor oil.
Okay.
According to cost, if you can use 10 ml, 20 ml, or 30 ml, and more than that, according to cost of the patient, you can decide the quantity.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, and how long should we treat the PCOS patients, ma'am?
How can?
How long should we treat a PCOS patient, ma'am? How long does it take to treat a
Okay,
PCOS
okay.
patient?
It depends on the chronicity of the disease. Okay. If you taken the mithya ahar or vihar, it not cause the disease in the next day. So if the patient consume mithya ahar, mithya vihar in a long time, in a eh, excessive time or excessive amount, long time in an excessive amount, then further it take a long time to cause the disease. So
Okay.
according to chronicity of the disease, so
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for answering all the questions with so much patience and sharing your valuable time. We have come to the end of the session. Dear delegates, our next Diksha Free webinar series will be conducted on 17th of March on next Wednesday. In the next session, we will be discussing about clinical understanding of Bagandara and its management by Dr. Mahesh Kumar, ES, Professor, Department of Shalya Tantra, FDM College of Ayurveda, Asan, Karnataka. Thank you everyone for joining with us today. For further details on our upcoming session, stay connected with us in all our social media. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Hope you all had a very good evening. Good night, all.